Hello, welcome back to the Reaction Shot Podcast. Thanks for joining me for another episode. For this episode, things are getting a little ghostly. That's right, we are talking Vermont homes, empty nesters, suspicious neighbors, murder, ghosts, ouija boards, infidelities, lies, secrets, and bathwater. That's right, we are talking 2000's What Lies Beneath. But first, I wanted to remind you that I am so happy to be here in this new season with you, the listeners. So much has happened since season 1, and I couldn't be happier. One of the biggest things to make note of is that I am now officially a part of the You Run Podcast Network, a network jam-packed with some amazing creators with a wide range of podcast topics. So hop on over to the You Run Podcast webpage. That's yourunpodcast.com, and check out all the other amazing podcasts that are a part of the family. In fact, there is one in particular that I'd like to point out. Under the Floorboards, John and Eric's razor-sharp horror comedy podcast, where every episode plunges you into chilling classics and laugh-out-loud banter. The entire show is punctuated by John's biting humor and Eric's encyclopedia love of cult chills. Along the way, there are surprise guests from indie directors to Scream Queen legends. Share behind-the-scenes nightmares, while fan theories and special effects breakdowns keep you guessing and giggling at every turn. Tune in for practical survival tips, hilarious villain showdowns, and twists that'll have you double-checking your own floorboards. So go ahead, check out Under the Floorboards on You Run Podcast Network, or wherever you get your podcast. I dare you to laugh when you think you're safe. Find this show and many others all in one place, again, at yourunpodcast.com. Now, back to the episode. Whether you're a die-hard thriller fan or a first-time viewer on this ghostly ride, you are about to discover exactly what lies beneath. And you just might find yourself checking the bathroom mirror long after the episode ends. And for those of you that need a little refresher on the plot, or are maybe a little too scared to watch, Wiki Fandom has provided a perfect breakdown of the film. Claire Spencer lives in Vermont with her husband, Dr. Norman Spencer, an accomplished scientist. After dropping her daughter, Caitlin, off at college, Claire begins to notice the activities of the couple who have moved in to the house next door, the Feuers. Overhearing Mary Feuer sobbing one day, Claire becomes concerned when Mary tells her that she's afraid she may disappear. When she sees Mary's husband Warren, a colleague of Norman's at college, dragging a suspicious form in the middle of the night and putting it in the trunk of his car, she suspects he has killed Mary. Claire decides to investigate. After nobody answers the door, Claire soon witnesses strange occurrences when she is alone in the house and becomes convinced that Mary is dead and haunting her. Desperate to reach Mary's spirit, Claire invites her friend Jody to join her for a seance in the bathroom. The seance provides no results except for the dog scaring them. So Jody leaves after Claire confides that Norman treats her like a child due to her car accident a year before and the recent departure of their daughter. Claire then cleans out the bathroom, but then returns to it with a full bathtub and a steamy message on the bathroom's mirror that reads, "You know." Hysterical, Claire runs downstairs to get the phone when the computer, that turned on by itself after she went upstairs, begins to type MEF over and over again. Terrified, she then runs to her husband's office at the college, where he accuses her of attempting to sabotage his career. She denies it, but then realizes that Warren is there, and she confronts him, only to find out that Mary is with him and alive. Mary visits her the next day and apologizes for the misunderstanding. Despite the resolution of the Feuers, Claire continues to experience strange ghostly hauntings in her house. She sees the ghostly image of a woman in the lake from her dock and finds a silver key beneath the screen of a floor vent. After a picture falls and breaks, Claire notices a newspaper clipping about a missing girl named Madison Elizabeth. She then does some more research, which informs her that Madison's last name is Frank, fitting the initials M-E-F, and she resembles her, but with green eyes, as she had mentioned to Jody. She also learns that Madison attended the university where Norman works, and that the police assumed she simply ran away a year ago. Claire then visits Madison's mother and is taken to her room, where she sees her full picture. Later, Norman comes home and Claire seduces him, but right before, her face turns into Madison's, and Norman pushes her away roughly. Claire comes to her senses and the memory of her own car accident returns, as she remembers that she had caught Norman and Madison together. Distraught by the discovery, she had crashed her car into a tree while driving in a rainstorm. They argue, and Claire leaves. Outraged by Norman's infidelity and the nasty things he said during their argument, Claire spends the night with Jody. While talking, Jody confirms that she had her suspicions of Norman's infidelity when she spotted him with a young woman in the nearby town of Adamant. The next morning, Claire returns home and finds Norman comatose in the tub with a hairdryer. The paramedics are called, but he is given a clean bill of health. Claire is convinced that it was an attempt by Madison to take revenge, and that her spirit has now been appeased. Norman confesses to Claire that while he did have an affair with the girl, he played no part in her disappearance. Seemingly reconciled with Norman, Claire visits Adamant, where she spots the same key necklace in a shop window along with a chest it unlocks. That night, she dives into the lake and uncovers the box, unlocking it with the key and finding the matching necklace. Norman interrupts her and alters his story. After breaking off his affair with Madison, she was so distraught that she committed suicide by overdosing on pills in the Spencer house. In a panic, he placed Madison's body into her car, which he then pushed into the lake and threw the chest with his matching necklace in it into the lake as well. Claire is unmoved by Norman's explanation and tells him the only way to make it right is to notify the police and bring Madison's body up from the lake. Norman pretends to speak with the police on the phone and agrees for an officer to come to the house. When he leaves to take a shower, Claire redials the phone and discovers that he has called 411 and not 911. Norman then grabs her from behind and sedates her with a paralyzing drug. He drags her to the bathtub and leaves her to drown in the rising water, so that she will appear to have committed suicide. In the midst of this, Norman then confesses to Claire that his previous story had been a lie, that he, in fact, killed Madison to prevent her from going to the dean about their affair and ruining his career. He then confesses that he hopes Claire's death will bring him closer to her daughter Caitlin. As he leans in for a final kiss, he spots Madison's necklace around Claire's neck and tries to remove it. Claire's face then takes on the image of Madison, and in shock, Norman slips on the floor and bangs his head on the rim of the tub, knocking him out cold. Claire, recovering from her paralysis, barely manages to shut the tap off in time to save herself from drowning. When she regains her strength, she finds that Norman is missing from the bathroom floor. She crawls down the stairs to the phone and notices Norman apparently unconscious, his head bleeding profusely. As she reaches over him and attempts to make a phone call, he grabs her ankle, and in a blind panic, she rushes out of the house, grabbing the car keys and a cellular phone and driving away in a truck with the couple's sailboat hitched to the back. As she is crossing the bridge over the lake, Norman bursts through the back window and grabs Claire. She frantically dials 911, and the truck swerves down the embankment into the lake. Underwater, Claire escapes out the window, but Norman grabs her leg. Madison's body floats up and grabs Norman, literally scaring him to death. This forces him to release Claire, and Madison takes Norman back below with her. The truck dislodges Madison's sports car, revealing where she has been all this time. That winter, Claire places a single red rose on Madison's grave, thus bringing the film to an end. Now, let's get into Season 2, Episode 18 of the Reaction Shot podcast, with a POV on Robert Zemeckis' What Lies Beneath. Now, go grab that Ouija board. Yeah, we wish to commune with the spirit. Forget it. This whole thing is insane. Okay. We wish to communicate with the spirit of Mary Fuhr. Hi everyone, I'm Dave and I love movies. So, welcome to my podcast, The Reaction Shot. In each episode, I'll dive deep into a movie of any genre that holds a special place in my heart. But here's the twist. I bring on a guest who has never seen that movie before, until now. We discuss, dissect, and review from pre to post-production to behind-the-scenes stories and well into its impact on pop culture. Will we agree on everything, or will we have wildly different views? Thanks for hitting play. Let's roll tape and find out. Fade in. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reaction Shot podcast. It's me, your good old host Dave, and today I have returning guest Lauren Drake. Lauren, you have not been here since April, when you introduced to me The Sound of Music. What's up with that?
I know. It's so weird.
It's so weird.
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been so long. And you hijacked my show back in April, and you said, Dave, you need to watch this movie. You did such a great job, and I feel like we haven't connected since. I know we are both having crazy busy lives, so I'm glad to get you back here for a new movie. Lauren, what movie are we doing today?
What Lies Beneath. Yes.
What Lies Beneath.
What Lies Beneath.
What does lie beneath, Lauren? Okay, so What Lies Beneath, for those of you who have never seen it, I did just give you a rundown prior to us talking here of what the film is about for anyone who has never seen it or just needed a little refresher. What Lies Beneath is a psychological, supernatural horror drama film. It was released on July 21st, 2000. So literally celebrated its 25th anniversary just a few weeks ago. How crazy is that?
That freaks me out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So,
I don't like that.
I know. Talking about like these movies that are celebrating these anniversaries, and on the podcast talking about what our histories are with these films, I'm like, wow. So my history with What Lies Beneath, surprise, surprise, everyone, I saw it opening weekend in the movie theaters. My family had a cottage up in northern Pennsylvania, so we would spend the summers there, like on weekends. And my mom and dad took me to go see it. I was 11 years old, and I loved it. Loved it. My theater was packed. My mom and dad were super excited about seeing the movie. I was super excited about seeing the movie. I just remember people in the audience jumping and screaming and cheering at some points in time. And I vividly remember seeing the movie in the movie theater. So there's definitely a really good nostalgic memory that I have of this film. So when I was thinking about some movies to do with you, I, for some reason, thought that What Lies Beneath would be a great film for you because it kind of touches on a genre that I love and maybe isn't quite your favorite. But I felt like there was some stuff in here that maybe would get you excited. With that being said, Lauren, what is your history with What Lies Beneath? What did you know about it before you watched it?
I knew absolutely nothing about it. But it's funny you say that because I'm thinking you were like, oh, well, Harrison Ford's in this movie. So Lauren might be interested in watching this movie because I'm such a huge, I'm such a Star Wars fan and, and like a Grease 2 fan, Michelle Pfeiffer. So
perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Star Wars and Grease 2 coming together for a supernatural horror film.
Have you seen Grease 2?
That was the intention. I did, like, when I was a kid. I was obsessed with Grease. So, then I watched Grease 2, and I feel like Grease 2 just has this big following where you absolutely love it or you absolutely loathe it. And I don't really remember much about it to even have an opinion. So, yeah, I do need to revisit.
Well, that needs to be our next watch because Grease 2 is hilarious and it's so good.
Excellent.
Yeah, but Harrison Ford, I knew nothing about this movie.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Like nothing at all. It's so crazy. It's so wild.
Cool Riders. You don't get that reference yet, but you will.
I don't. Cool Riders, everyone. For those of you who know.
Cool Riders, yeah.
Yes, we have Harrison Ford. We have Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie, and I'm a huge Michelle Pfeiffer fan. I've always really enjoyed her movies, so super excited about it, and we just had a great time. And I do want to mention the marketing of this film. Lauren, you said that you remember nothing about this movie. Did you watch a trailer before you watched the movie, like to get an idea?
No, I literally have no recollection of this movie coming out. I obviously did not see it in the theater. None of my friends talked about it. I mean, we were watching, like, I don't know, the Even Stevens movie. I don't know. No, like, I was watching Xenon, Stevens. Girl of the 21st Century.
This is why you're perfect.
I wasn't watching any horror films, so I don't even remember anything about this movie at all. So tell me about the marketing.
The marketing of this film, I remember when the trailers came out, which obviously made me excited to go see the movie. Looking back on it, there's this big ideology behind trailers and what they give away and don't give away. I think what makes What Lies Beneath fun is kind of going into it not knowing much about the story or the twists or anything like that. And the trailer for the movie actually has the line in it where it's mentioned that Harrison Ford cheated on his wife and that the other woman killed herself in their house. So that was already given away in the trailer. And that revelation doesn't even come until halfway into the film. I think the trailer for it kind of ruined that aspect of the movie. So I love hearing that you went into it pretty much completely blind, so nothing like that was ruined for you. But yeah, it just goes with the conversation that happens more so nowadays where people are like, man, like trailers give away too much stuff now. Why does this happen? And I don't think I ever really noticed it much when I was younger, but now that I'm older, rewatching old trailers and things like that, I'm just like, damn, they really did give all that shit away. Even nowadays, I used to religiously watch movie trailers. Like, I would call my parents into the room, more so my mom. I would call my mom into the room and be like, Mom, get in front of the big-ass computer we had, dial up and all that shit. And I'd be like, Mom, watch this trailer for this movie. And she'd be like, okay, I'll watch this trailer. God love her. She suffered through so many trailers.
It's so cute. You were so excited.
So excited. It's obnoxious. You can admit it.
No, it's so cute. And your mom was probably like, okay, I'm going to do this because I love my son.
That's actually exactly how it happens. Every once in a while, I still shoot her a trailer to check out. But more so nowadays, watching trailers, even for new films, I'll watch it one time and that's it. Like, I don't want to know anything else about it. There's a lot of movies coming out right now where they have like little teasers that give away like 30 seconds. And I'm like, that's it. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know anything else. Listen, you people marketing the movies, stop giving shit away.
Even TV shows, like when Game of Thrones was coming out, like I just was like, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to see a trailer. I want to be completely surprised. Like, yeah. I don't like how... I like a good, like, You know how like there can be like a trailer where it's like just like 10 seconds of the movie and then it's like a jump scare and then it's like, wait, what was that? I have no idea what that was about, but I'm interested. You know, something like that.
Interested, yeah.
Not like
no, I agree.
Like scenes of the whole entire thing. Yeah.
Trailers don't really give away too much of the film, and you mentioned just like 10 seconds of the movie and then a jump scare. That's all you need. People are going to get excited for a film no matter what you're really showing to them. So if you can sell them on just a brief moment or a quick idea of what to expect, sometimes even, I mean, with a movie like this, Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer, directed by Robert Zemeckis, like, you already have these draws right there. In 2000, those three things, people were seated. And at that point in time, those thriller movies, those suspense, audiences were showing up for that. So you already had everything you needed. Just market it at, I mean, you could even just focus on the first 30 minutes of the movie with the next door neighbors and the curiosity of what's going on there. And then the idea that there's a ghost there and it might be the dead woman next door. Like, that could have just been your trailer. Then you go to see it and you're like, wait.
Yeah, all you need to see is her, like, Michelle Pfeiffer going down the fence and then, like, the eye in the fence hole. Like, that's all you need. And people are interested. Yeah. Like, are you okay? Yeah. Like, what's wrong?
The fence hole.
Yeah, that's all you need. Right. The fence hole.
Love it. Yes. Anyway. But no, yeah. I agree. 100%. I love it. You, with all due respect, you've probably never seen this, Lauren, but there is a movie. It was a remake in 2003. There was a movie in 2003. It was a remake. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, shit. Okay.
This is going to be like when we were in this, changing that pop the one time.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh, bear with us, everyone. Oh, man. All right.
Okay, we've got it.
Great. Got this. All right, this is our blooper reel right here. So, with all due respect, you've probably never seen the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Am I correct?
No.
No.
You are very correct.
So,
yes.
the marketing for that movie was brilliant because everybody knew what the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was. Everyone, you already knew the name. We have a remake of a very popular 1970s horror film. What's the best way to get people excited about this movie? To create a trailer that, I'm not kidding, Lauren, was about probably 45 seconds to a minute long. It is a blank screen, completely black. You hear panting, scared, trying to like catch their breath, scared to death, and then you start hearing footsteps, scary footsteps. And then very faintly, you start to hear like a picking, and then all of a sudden the wall starts smashing in, so this light starts coming in, so you realize that you as the audience is a person hiding from Leatherface, and you're behind this wood, so when he's breaking the wood, light starts coming in on the screen, you can kind of start to see out there, and then Leatherface pokes his head through the cracks of the wood, and then it just says the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sold. That's all you need. Then you hear the chainsaw revving up, and you're good. You're golden.
Leatherface, huh? I didn't even know that was a remake. I didn't. I thought it was just early 2000s, right? It was early 2000s?
Yeah, the remake
Texas
was 2003. The original was in 1970s.
Yeah, I had no idea it was even a remake.
Sounds like we're going to have to jump into that franchise too.
Yeah.
All right. So the marketing of this movie, I do think the marketing of this movie ruined some of the suspense that came with the film. The movie is a very glossy, perfect representation of the 2000s. Its budget for this psychological horror, supernatural drama, the budget was $100 million.
What?
So
That's
granted,
crazy.
a lot of it probably went to Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. Like, let's face it, like, they're icons.
Harrison Ford is not shy about the fact that he does certain movies for the money. He's never shy at admitting that. So, yeah.
Sure. And
I can see that.
Yeah. I'm glad he did this. We'll definitely get into the acting here in a little bit. So with that $100 million budget, their opening weekend, they opened with $29.8 million in the United States.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's U.S. gross, so in the United States and Canada, it ended its run at $155.4 million. So made $55.4 million more than its budget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But overseas is where all the love came from. So rounding out its total worldwide gross, it ended at $291.4 million. Huge. Super successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely made a lot of money back. Got his payday. Definitely got the payday. The movie is directed by Robert Zemeckis, a very famous filmmaker. At the time, he was filming Castaway. Have you ever seen Castaway?
Oh, I have actually. It's a miracle.
Well,
I've seen a movie that you've mentioned.
Wow.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm so proud of you. This is growth.
Yeah. Well, I've heard of the Zemeckis.
Well, I'm going to name the movies I feel like you maybe not have seen, but you have probably heard of, just to give you an idea of how famous this director is. Okay? Some of his most notable films that he directed are things such as Romancing the Stone, Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3, Death Becomes Her, Forrest Gump, Contact, Castaway, The Polar Express, A Christmas Carol, and a bunch of other shit.
So yeah, all you had to say was Back to the Future, and I'm like, okay, well, he's an iconic person. But was it The Muppets Christmas Carol or just A Christmas Carol? I didn't mean that as a serious thing.
I was like, wait.
No, I didn't mean it seriously. I just am saying The Muppets Christmas Carol. I was like, did I say The Muppets? Also iconic. Just like Back to the Future. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, Robert Zemeckis. He did some pretty cool films.
I mean, Back to the Future and Forrest Gump, like that is legendary. Yeah,
you can't go wrong with that. And I think when you see, so what lies beneath the genre of horror, that psychological, supernatural stuff, is a very sought after genre because audiences do usually show up for it. But it's not very common, at least at this time, for us to hear of such big directors who never really dabble in that genre per se, to want to go that route. So there was something about the screenplay that really pulled Robert Zemeckis in. So Robert Zemeckis filmed the first part of Castaway, and then he needed Tom Hanks to grow the beard and all the weight stuff. So during that hiatus of waiting for that, Robert Zemeckis took on this film and then went back to Castaway afterwards. Like,
wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. So that's something. So I feel like he felt pretty great about the content of the screenplay, and the screenplay was based off of a story by someone named Sarah Kernockin. I might be saying that wrong, but Sarah Kernockin is what I'm going to call her. Mm-hmm. She wrote the story with inspiration by a real paranormal experience that she had. I've looked online to try to figure out what her paranormal experience was, but I wasn't really able to find it. But she wrote a spec script, like a story, to kind of build it up. And then someone named Clark Gregg, who is actually a very well-established actor. He's one of those actors that is in pretty much every movie, and you're like, oh, I know that guy, but maybe you don't know his name. Does that make sense? So you know what kind of actors I'm talking about?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So the guy who wrote it, his name is Clark Gregg. So he loved the screenplay, like the spec story screenplay that he read, and he turned it into a feature-length screenplay, which is what Lies Beneath turned into, of course. With that, he ended up getting the screenplay to Steven Spielberg, who was ahead of DreamWorks Pictures. And Steven Spielberg was like, we have this little subdivision of DreamWorks. Robert Zemeckis was in charge of it. Robert Zemeckis got his hands on it. And he was like, I really like this screenplay. And while I'm reading it, all I can envision is Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. I will make this movie if I can get those people.
Wow. So he already had that vision and he made it come to life.
And he made it come true. Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
I think that shows the faithfulness the director had in bringing this project to life. He also is a very technical director, so he likes to kind of dabble with some of the new things that's happening at the time in filmmaking. There's some pretty cool camera angles and certain effects that were definitely very original at the time, and they were things that people were trying out with different aspects of filmmaking. I think it's great. I think it's great that he took this film on, had such a big technical background and brought this supernatural film to life. And I think it gives it its own kind of feel to it too, if that makes sense. Do you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with the $291.4 million worldwide gross, this movie was a bona fide hit. However, critics didn't like it.
Yeah.
Critics were very 50-50 on the film. There was a lot of debate on if the screenplay was very good. There's been a lot of conversation, more so at the time that it came out, that the acting was very stiff, that the film was way too drawn out, that it was too predictable. Like, I'm gonna be like, well, fuck, it was fucking predictable. You guys ruined the whole damn movie in the trailer. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not mad about it.
Not at all.
Well, yeah, not at all. So yeah, so critics were very mixed on it, very 50-50. But at the end of the day, I think over time, I wouldn't necessarily call it like a classic, but kind of sought after in pop culture, more so people talking about, the last 30 minutes of the movie, the bathtub scene. Those moments are absolutely remembered. And if you, to any casual cinephile that you bring up, scary movies that take place in bathrooms, people will definitely bring up What Lies Beneath. Especially because of the ending. Yeah. With that being said, I do want to say right now, review-wise, if we're checking out online, on Internet Movie Database, we're looking at a 6.6 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, we're at a 48% critically and 58% from users.
Ooh.
I know. Metacritic, we're at a 51 out of 100 and a 6.6 out of 10 by users. And on Letterboxd, we're at a 3.2 out of 5. Again, still very middle of the road. Most of those pretty much line up about the same overall through all those platforms. Lauren, the big question, the reaction shot.
Yeah.
The question that's on everyone's mind. What do you give What Lies Beneath? On a scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10, yeah. I didn't hate it. I would say probably like a 4.5 out of 10. So I'm pretty middle of the road with this one too. No, but that's
okay.
But think of what I've rated everything else. That's pretty good.
True.
Yeah.
I'm
that's
pretty
good.
sure Jawbreaker is still your number one movie that we've done.
It is. Love Jawbreaker.
It is. I love that. Would have never expected that. Ever. I actually thought that I thought you would rate this movie at least a 7.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could do a 5.5 just for the fact that Harrison Ford is in it, but I don't want to do that just because of him,
Yeah, don't do it just for Mr. Harry.
I liked it. I love those two. I don't necessarily know if this is Harrison Ford's genre. It was hard for me to take the Indiana Jones and the Han Solo out of him, you know? I know.
Wait for that lightsaber to pop up.
Exactly. So, but I loved like it did surprise me, and I did love the scenery. You know, Vermont, right? Vermont. It's gorgeous.
Vermont,
so.
yeah. Gorgeous.
No, 4.5. 4.5. I liked it.
4.5.
Yeah.
Did Alan and Courtney, do they like it?
Well, Alan fell asleep. he fell asleep.
Killing over me here.
Yeah. Courtney, I can ask her right now. Courtney, what do you rate What Lies Beneath out of 10? She says 6.5. That's what she says.
Okay.
She said she would have rated it higher in the year 2000. But
okay, that's fair.
As a viewing person now, 6.5.
Okay, that's fair. I get that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's fine.
8.
Yeah,
I don't know. Waiting for you to give a bad review. No, you did. What'd you give Sound of Music?
A 5.
Okay. Well, that's... It's not a 1 or a 0.
It's true. It's not a negative like you gave Terrifier 2 or 3. I don't remember. 2.
No, a 3 I gave a good score.
That's right. You liked 3.
I liked 3.
Yeah.
You put
Chris. You like how I talked about you to David?
Yeah.
You like how I talked about you to David Howard Thornton?
I loved it. I was like, wait, they're talking about me.
That's me. David Howard Thornton's talking about you. Howard the Clown knows who I am.
No, I liked 3. I genuinely liked 3. It was, liked it.
Good. Well, Lauren, so we're going to break this down a little bit. You know, I think what I've been doing lately is finding out what people rate the movie overall on a scale of 1 to 10. But then I also like to kind of break things down a little bit and see where people think about different aspects of the movie. So we have acting, Lauren, on a scale of 1 to 10. What do we think about the acting in the movie?
I tend to agree with, you said a lot of people said it was stiff. Mm-hmm. I will say I agree a bit. I would say 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 for acting. And it's crazy because I think of those two as really great actors. So I just don't know if this was their genre.
Sure. I give it a 6 out of 10. I do think, no offense to Harrison Ford, because I do think he's a really good actor. Much like you said before, you could really see him in this type of role. I do think he brings the movie down a little bit. I don't think he ruins the movie by any means. I don't think he's bad in the film. I just don't think he's great. I don't think he's giving his all. I like Michelle Pfeiffer's performance a lot. She worked really well with the ghost scenes of, obviously nothing actually being there and her fear reactions that she had to certain things. So I do think that Michelle carried the film over Harrison Ford. And some of the secondary actors weren't amazing by any means. I don't necessarily think they were supposed to be, but I think there's a reason for that, and we'll get into that in a second. What do you think about the writing?
I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I liked the overall premise and the dialogue. Yeah. I that's where I'm it's weird because I think that Michelle kind of faltered more so than Harrison.
Oh.
I felt a lot of it seemed forced on her end a bit. So, yeah. Like I said, I hate to say anything bad about either of those two, but I felt he was more natural and it was a little more, she was great. And you said, the bathtub scene at the end, she's good in those moments, but the really dialogue heavy ones where she is, kind of those scenes where Harrison is like, you're losing your mind. You're losing your mind. You know, I felt like she didn't connect it for me.
That's why I like doing these things. I like to hear different perspectives and see what people think. And with the writing, I agree. I give it a 7 out of 10. I think the story has some originality to it. It kind of presents one storyline to confuse you. You know, a lot of scary films have red herrings, so they're pointing you. So we'll use Scream for an example. They're using one specific person that they're kind of focusing on, like this person is probably the killer. Here's a little hint that it might be that person, because they're hiding what's actually happening over here, which is what I think what Lies Beneath was trying to do. I think at moments the writing's a little clunky, and I do think, and this will go with what I said and you said, I think that's what faults their acting a little bit in certain scenes at certain times, that maybe the writing wasn't as sharp as it could have been, and therefore there was a slight disconnect from what was on page to what translated to screen. If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, I do like the screenplay. Again, I think, some people's beef with the movie is that obviously there's the story, the Rear Window story that's happening. She's watching the neighbors next door, and she thinks that she's figured out there's a crime that happened, that the man killed his wife. So a lot of people, I think, don't fully grasp that, because they're like, what did that have to do with the storyline? They're just throwing different shit out there. And I think it was really made just, we're focusing on one specific thing while all this other stuff is happening outside. So once she's able to let go of that, she's also able to start realizing the things that she herself should also be paying attention to. What about directing?
Directing wise, I'd say like an 8 out of 10.
Yep. That's what I did too.
Yeah.
I mentioned Zemeckis is a very technical director. He likes to kind of play around with what's going on in cinema at the time. He was doing some really cool shit with glass floor towards the end of the movie. When Michelle Pfeiffer would fall to the floor, the camera was underneath her, so they were using a CGI floor for when she's standing. She's actually standing on glass, so she would fall over, but the camera's and the glass underneath, so it's like she really falls on top of us. There's a lot of really cool camera angles, some awesome cinematography shots with mirrors. There's a lot of different camera angles that use mirrors in different ways that I think are very interesting. And yeah, I think he brought a lot of really great vision to the film, which also made it fun. It's visually... Yeah. You mentioned the Vermont setting. They had that house built for the movie. Their house was built for the movie only. Just wait how crazy this gets. They had the house built for the movie, but it didn't meet certain codes, like building codes for that area. So when they were done filming, they had to tear it down.
Stop.
It gets even crazier.
There's more? Okay.
There's more. So that house was only used for the daytime shots. All the nighttime shots was on a replicated set on a Los Angeles soundstage. So everything inside was inside of a soundstage studio in LA that they duplicated what the house looked like. And then they obviously had to tear that set down too.
No to all of that.
Wild.
I hate it all.
Wild.
That was such a gorgeous house.
Yeah.
Even like Courtney and I just watched it.
Yeah. It doesn't exist.
I hate it. Doesn't exist.
The bathroom scene, like any shots that are in the bathroom, there are 5 different versions of the bathroom that were constructed. So various things could be filmed inside of that bathroom from different angles, and all 5 of those were replicated on both coasts.
Stop. This is so depressing. And then they tore it all down. Those beautiful clawfoot tubs. Oh, yeah, I don't like that. That beautiful exterior with those gardens. How dare they? No.
How dare they?
Don't like it. How dare they?
All right, so soundtrack. What are we rating the soundtrack? This includes any score, any composition, any actual songs that are played. What are we giving the soundtrack to the movie?
I'll say a 3. Nothing really stood out to me. There were no songs outside of the score. I think the score complemented the movie well enough, but I thought it could have been a bit more interesting, in my opinion.
No, your opinion is just like mine. I actually gave it a 2 out of 10 for the music because there wasn't really a lot to grasp onto. Nothing really stood out. I think they also relied a lot more on the creepiness of the silence and then the music, hidden right before the scare, as opposed to like any type of build-up, which I think is good and bad at the same exact time. But yeah, the score just wasn't like super memorable to me. I honestly don't even remember what it sounds like, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like cut and paste horror movie soundtrack. Yeah.
Nothing exciting.
I'm sorry to whoever. I always feel bad saying that because I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure that person is zoned in right now to my podcast. Absolutely. He was I need to hear what people say about my score.
I just feel bad saying that, but yeah, I mean, they didn't. There was no songs. You know how well, this will go into another one, but comedy and lighthearted scenes, they'll have a cool oh, here's this 70s song, and there was nothing like that,
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just my mind.
No. Okay, so I had to look up who does the music for the movie, and Polar Express, all the Avenger movies, Forrest Gump, the new Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, so obviously we're wrong.
We're so dumb, Lauren. We don't understand music.
I
We just don't get it. Oh, Serendipity, the Mummy, What Women Want, Stuart Little, the Doug TV show, Practical Magic.
Practical Magic, so the lime in the coconut.
Well, Mr. Alan Silvestri, you failed on this one.
I'm sorry.
You hear me? You hear me, Alan? You suck. Just kidding.
It was fine enough. It just it didn't stand out to me.
Sure. No, I agree. All right, this brings us into the drama. Lauren, what are we rating the drama?
Probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I mean, honestly, this movie's all drama. Drama, suspense. Yeah, it really is. So probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Yeah. I give it a 7. I think there's as you said, I mean, it's a drama film. There's all the dramatics of what's going on with the neighbors next door and how will I survive living in an empty nest without my daughter, and my husband did something bad. He cheated a year ago. I was in a bad car accident. There's definitely a lot of drama built around all of this. Does all of it work? Maybe a little. Some of it's a little bit too far-fetched or kind of comes off a little cheesy at times. But it's there. It's the drama of it all. What about comedy? What are we rating the comedy here?
There was no comedy whatsoever in this movie. It's a 0.
You didn't chuckle one time?
Not a 1.
Not a chuckle. Not a chuckle to be heard. Chuckleless.
There was nothing. And you need something, a little, even if her and Harrison in the beginning had a little dance scene or something. You need something. There needs to be something. But there.
You didn't chuckle when they tried to out-sex the neighbors next door?
Mildly.
Mildly.
I think that was the one lighthearted moment of the whole thing.
Okay, I did laugh one time, so I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. The scene when they take their daughter to college and they're meeting her roommate and they're in the dorm room and he's like, please take care of my daughter or something. And she goes, I'll be sure to take her to every bar I go to.
Beatrice, yeah.
I don't know why.
Little Beatrice.
Beatrice. Oh, look at you, Beatrice. Okay, the action of the film. What do we rate the action?
Probably 5. I mean, all the action pretty much came in the last 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. It was a long movie. Did you hear that?
You have your own Beatrice there.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
So funny. But yeah, I agree. The action, I give a 5 out of 10. Like you said, all the action comes from the last 30, 40 minutes of the movie. And a lot of those moments were actually pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. I was definitely really into it that last 30, 45 minutes. What do we give the suspense of the film? Were you shooketh to your core?
Ish.
Ish.
Like, I would say like a 7. This is totally random, but this has to do with suspense. But when she was checking on her neighbor who was like crying, did you think that was her in another realm? Did that ever cross your mind?
So, yes, I guess it did. I don't think I stopped to think about it, to think of it that way, but yeah, because I think that kind of goes with, this is a scene in the movie that falls with the drama, the suspense, and the writing, and maybe even the directing a little bit, where I don't understand why we were keeping her hidden. It didn't really make sense to me.
Well, that and like it's the same hair, like same build, same. Yeah, I was confused at first. I'm like, okay, this is her like in the future, or like this is her asking for herself for help. Like, I don't know. I went.
I would watch that movie, Lauren.
Yeah.
I would watch that movie. Like, now I want that to be made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's where I thought it was going. So when it ended up where it was, I was like, oh, wow. Not what I thought.
Yeah, I do find that scene kind of odd, and now that you mention that, I can see how you saw it play out that way, so it doesn't really make sense the way they do it, but here we are. What do we rate in the violence of the movie?
Like a 4 or 5. It wasn't like terribly gory or over the top in any way in terms of violence. I thought everything that happened made sense for what was happening. I don't think it was anything extra, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I give it a 4 out of 10. It was a PG-13 movie. They're not going to go completely insane with the violence, and it wasn't really needed. You know, we're dealing with, for most of the movie, we're dealing with ghosts, and the bathroom scene at the end, other than him getting knocked out, hitting his head off the side of the sink and everything, and kind of moving through the house, there wasn't really a need for violence either, so it wasn't like, oh, they're not giving us the violent goods, you know?
Right. It's not Art the Clown. Yeah.
It's not Art the Clown. Damn it, David Howard Thornton. Not everyone can be as violent as you.
No one.
I just realized that I didn't give you my rating of suspense. Like, I'm so sorry. Okay. I know that everyone's anticipating it.
I'm in suspense of your review of suspense.
Yeah, thank you. That was what I was going for. That's the dramatics of my suspense. I gave the suspense a 7 out of 10. I think there are some really good moments. I like that some of the scares are drawn out a little bit. Granted, we kind of fall into the formula of the jump scares from time to time, but I think because there was a lot of effort in putting a little bit of dread into like prolonging these scenes, I did enjoy it, and I think a couple moments kind of went a little different direction than you expected. I think they did a good job overall. Again, we're dealing with a PG-13 movie. They're not going to go above and beyond to scare the shit out of 13-year-olds. Too bad.
Well, and I also think there was like the slow burn of like all the faces in the water. Like it wasn't, it wasn't like a jump scare tactic. It was like I'm going to float to the top and I'm going to float away. And did you see that face or did you not see that face?
Woo!
Woohoo!
I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna go back down.
And I'm going to go back down.
All right, so let's jump into some absurd reviews we found online. These people we may agree with or we may not. I usually like to do 2 or 3 of these, so I did 2 that I found that I really liked that stuck out. One is a 1 star and one is a 10 star. So Lauren, go ahead and hit me with one that you found.
Yeah, so I didn't go the other way. I just went the not great stars way. I don't know why I do that.
That's okay. Those are usually the most fun.
Yeah. So
It's
Douglas
okay. I love
H. of Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 2-star rating, and he says, "How did everyone miss?" And this is all in caps. The glaring plot hole. The ghost in the story can play computer card games, can knock over pictures, and can move in a Ouija board. Why didn't the ghost just write a message on the computer to Pfeiffer's character and tell her how her husband murdered her and where she was buried? Story over. Harrison Ford goes straight to jail. An hour and a half saved from watching this. Yeah. Douglas H. was... Yeah.
Thank you for repeating his name. So Douglas, sir, because I couldn't remember your name, your not so great review of a movie that maybe some people don't love is warranted. However, I think, in my opinion, I agree. I mean, if a ghost wants to, go all out and just be like, hey, fuck you, your husband had sex with me and it was a year ago and you need to know what happened and then he murdered me, here's the truth. Sure, they could just go ahead and blatantly put it on the wall, write it on the mirror in the fog, use a bath bomb to write it out, whatever the fuck. But I think
Save
the whole...
a bath bomb to write it. Yes.
That's in my remake.
Yeah.
I fucked your husband.
In sparkles.
In sparkles, unicorn color. It's some gay guy.
Yeah.
We're off the rails tonight. I understand what he's saying, but I think the whole point of it was she, the ghost, is now in control, and she's like fucking with them. Why not play a little game? I mean, if I was a ghost, I would have fun with it too. I'd be writing all sorts of messages, not giving the actual answer, and I'd be playing solitaire too. That would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, she did write, She did write one message,
Yeah,
she wrote one.
Gave little pieces of information. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Douglas. Whatever, dude. You have another one, Lauren.
I do. This one's kind of just for me, but it says it's a 2-star review, no name, from Rotten Tomatoes, and it says,
Rude.
One of those stars is for Harrison Ford, not for his performance, just for being himself. So that one's kind of for me.
Did you write that? Are you no name?
No.
Your screen name would be Little Miss Lightsaber.
Wait, I'm going to steal that.
Oh, no. I created a monster.
Yeah. And then I just have one more. One more 1-star from IMDb. So they say, indeed, what lies beneath this movie? Nothing. Another terrible movie from modern Hollywood. This movie fails to create dramatic tension because of poor acting, poor screenplay, and poor direction. Not even the natural beauty of Vermont comes through. The actors actually seem bored with their parts. Sometimes Detroit has to do a recall. Why not Hollywood?
I don't even know what to say.
I don't even know what to say to that one.
What is this person's name again?
They didn't dare write their name.
They have a No Name too?
No Name.
Oh my god. Guys, if we're going to be bashing movies and bringing Detroit into it, we need to know your name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, okay, so I have two. As I mentioned, I have a 1-star. So DCS Martin from Internet Movie Database with a review title of 2 hours of my life I can't get back. This is the worst movie I have seen in quite some time. I can't believe that Harrison Ford, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Robert Zemeckis made this piece of trash. I just saw the movie last night, and I'm still so upset that I wasted time and money on it. After the third or fourth tense music, walking through the dark, waiting to get scared scene that the audience was actually laughing at the movie. I don't think that was the effect that the producers were actually looking for. Did they really need to have all of those scenes? The movie was way too long to start with. The story, not much better. I found it confusing and amusing. Did the ghost really appear in the bathroom scene? Or is that just Norman's imagination? Claire calls her neighbor a murderer, and he and his wife just laugh it off? Who walks down a flight of stairs backwards? How can a man crack his skull open on a sink and then run down a speeding truck? How can a woman be paralyzed by drugs 1 minute and then be running through the house the next? I realize suspending reality is needed in a movie like this, but come on! 5 exclamation marks. The only believable and compelling character in this movie was Cooper the dog.
No, Coop.
My wife and I were trying to decide between this and Scary Movie. I guess we chose Stupid Movie. If you haven't seen What Lies Beneath, keep it that way.
Oh my gosh.
A 10 out of 10 on drama there, kids.
That's where the drama is. And that review.
That is where the drama is. Guess I chose Stupid Movie. All right.
What the heck?
DCS Martin.
DCS Martin.
So I do want to say, I want to call out one thing, and this is why I picked this review. Who walks down a flight of stairs backwards? Okay. DCS Martin. I'm glad that you brought that up. I actually think that was great that happened because she knew that the person was upstairs, and to me, that was intelligent. So you're walking down the steps backwards, ready to attack what's in front of you, as opposed to running down the steps and hoping for the best. I thought that was smart.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but sure. I mean, way to use your brain. We respect that.
I probably would have done like a sideways thing, but you know.
Sure. Yeah, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I would have fell backwards, to be completely honest. So I would have just tumbled right down. They would have won right there. All right, so I got one more. This is also from Internet Movie Database. This is from 1F Cobodor. I might have said it right. So he gave it a 10 out of 10 and titled the review, Amazing.
Okay.
What Lies Beneath is a very creepy horror film with a great cast, great photography, and amazing horror sequences. It's a very long movie, but it's worth the time. Michelle Pfeiffer is amazing in this role. She is the typical homemaker, but this time she sees a ghost and the bathtub. That's very creepy. That's the more terrifying scene of it all. Harrison Ford is very good in his role as well. He's the sweet husband who hides a secret. His acting starts to get a little bit better after the first hour of the movie, but still, Michelle Pfeiffer steals the lead role. The ghost of the young woman is very creepy and very original. I really thought it was the neighbor, but it wasn't. Make sure to see this movie, because I know you won't be disappointed. It's so much better than The Sixth Sense. 20 exclamation marks. Yeah.
20?
I give it a 10. I think so. It's small font. I'm getting old, but yeah. There's a lot. I give it a 10 out of 10 for the acting and the story. I really did love it, and I could see it 2 times every day just for the amazing horror bathtub sequences. Make sure to watch it. It's amazing.
2 times every day?
2 times every day. That is
Every day.
almost 4 hours and 20 minutes of your time, bub.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm very happy that he was so excited about it, to be honest.
Can I say one thing, though? Do you know what I think added to this movie's like suspense and like Michelle Pfeiffer's eyes? Can we just say like her eyes added so much to this movie? They were just like, yeah, super
bright
creepy,
and blue,
yeah,
and
bright and blue, and then
green,
scary green. But
scary green.
yeah. Well, I have green eyes. I don't want to think they're scary, but
well, now that's what I'm always going to think about is your scary green eyes.
Scary green eyes.
I'm going to call you Madison Elizabeth Frank, Meth.
Or Mary E. Fior.
Fior. Mm-hmm.
Fior.
Oh, you're so good with names. But speaking of, we've obviously been talking about this movie for almost an hour now, but do want to do a real quick rundown of the cast, just in case you don't know who else is in this film other than Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer, because they are obviously the stars that we keep talking about a lot. Harrison Ford plays Dr. Norman Spencer. Michelle Pfeiffer plays Claire Spencer. Diane Scarwood plays Jodie. Joe Morton plays Dr. Drayton. James Remar as Warren Fior. Miranda Otto as Mary Fior, Wendy Crewson as Elena, Ray Baker as Dr. Stan Powell, Amber Valletta as Madison Elizabeth Frank, the other woman. Not a super huge cast. We have a couple other small parts in here. You know, the daughter's in the movie for maybe a minute and 47 seconds. It's definitely Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer's movie. There's a couple of people that, do some small reoccurring roles throughout the film, but no one else really stands out too much longer than, 2-minute screen time, it feels like. Pretty good cast, I think. Again, we talked about Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer's acting, what they brought to the movie, what they didn't bring to the movie. But overall, those are two big names, two big draws, so I think people alone just get excited for things like that. We talked a little bit about the soundtrack as well, not being super exciting, so I did... I did ask Lauren to pick a song from anywhere between 1998 to the 2000s to put into the film. So if she was, the soundtrack supervisor of this movie, I asked her what song she would pick that would fit the movie, musically or lyrically, that we would put into the film and where we would put it. Lauren, I cannot wait to hear what you chose.
I mean, don't build it up that much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Drake with the song she chooses.
No, I just thought it would be interesting at the end when the car is driven off the bridge and they're in water for it to like suspend like the violence noises and like go into like this song that's like kind of tells a story, and I just thought that would be kind of cool. I don't know. Does that make sense? I'm like,
yeah.
Here am I. Here, I'm like this indie director right now.
Absolutely. I'm loving it. I live for this stuff.
But I mean, I will say during those years, 98 to 2000, one of my favorite artists was Fiona Apple. So there's this song that she wrote called I Know, and I thought it went well with the theme of like when Madison writes in the wall in the bathroom mirror. Okay. It's like so yeah, I know. Like, I don't know.
I love that. I was gonna say I'm honestly not very familiar with it, but I'm definitely going to listen to it whenever we get off of this this episode. Couldn't think of the word. Yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to that.
I just thought it would be cool to like, because leading up to that, like they have this like violent sort of interaction, Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford, and once their car kind of takes that dive, I thought it would be cool to like have like this song playing instead of you see the action of what they're doing to each other, and yeah, that's what I thought was kind of cool.
No, I actually really like that. I was, I'm going to be honest with you, I failed to get this part of the assignment for the episode done. I did listen to a bunch of music, kind of skimmed through what was popular at the time. A lot of things that kept popping up was like Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls, and I was like, oh boy. So
unless you threw some comedy in.
Yeah, like they drive off the bridge and it's tearing
Or
up
no,
my
like
heart. Yeah, something like that.
her and Brianna, before, she leaves for college, have like a choreographed dance to the Spice Girls, like.
Excellent.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yeah, okay. No, I did really like what you said. I think I did start jumping into like the alternative music at that point in time. I didn't really find anything at the moment that stuck out to me, so I definitely failed there, but I think you did a great job. I think Fiona Apple, again, I'm not familiar with that song, but just knowing her music style, her voice, I think that sounds like it would work out really well. So I'll definitely check that out, and it sounds like I can definitely envision what's going to be happening in that scene as well. So love that. All right, Lauren, this movie pulls a lot of parallels from one of the most iconic horror directors of all time. Do you know who that is?
No. No idea.
I guess I wouldn't really say horror films, but Alfred Hitchcock is Robert Zemeckis very openly used him as a lot of inspiration for this film. When watching it, as a big Alfred Hitchcock fan myself, I can definitely see a lot of parallels to even just the story in general. It's almost like the story was written as if, Hitchcock had his hand in what the story was going to be. We got the main character being a beautiful blonde woman, lots of suspense. Now, Alfred Hitchcock never really dove into the supernatural things, but all the things that surround that story, minus the supernatural, is definitely very Alfred Hitchcock. There's even a lot of nods in the movie to honor Alfred Hitchcock, the most prominent one being Harrison Ford's character being named Norman, a.k.a. Norman Bates from Psycho.
Gotcha.
And the climax of the film has some very minor, similar variations to what was done with the shower scene in Psycho. Obviously, the last 40 minutes of the movie primarily takes place in the bathroom, but this time, instead of being a shower, it is a bathtub. Now, I'm not saying that this scene is as iconic and memorable as the shower scene in Psycho, but there's a lot of love that went into that scene to honor Alfred Hitchcock and his style, including the eyeball in the fence. I know you brought that up earlier in the episode. That's something very Alfred Hitchcock. It's that suspense of not knowing what's on the other side of the fence and then being greeted with it right up front, literally in your face.
I would love to do like a Hitchcock film.
Yeah, whoa, we definitely will. I
don't think I've ever seen one. Yeah.
Whew. Okay, yeah, we definitely will. It's more so when I was younger, maybe my late teens, early 20s, I was really into Alfred Hitchcock. I bought a bunch of his movies. I own a bunch of them, digitally and physically. And there's definitely a lot of stuff just pulled from this movie. And I think that's maybe why I like it a lot, because it kind of feels like a modern version of what an Alfred Hitchcock movie was. Definitely brought a lot of comparisons to that. I do want to talk about the bathroom scene. What did you think about that bathroom scene towards the end? Because that's what this movie is known for. Everything else is definitely long, drawn-out suspense stuff, and then it's all thrown in your face in the last 30 minutes.
I mean, to me, the highlight of the bathroom scene was when that water was getting like higher and higher and higher. And, she's coming out of this. What is that stuff again? That he gave to the mice.
It was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like earlier
it paralyzes you for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Right. Which to me, I'm like, why didn't he just do it again? But that's beside the point. That's beside the point.
Fair.
But it was interesting to see her eyes in those scenes as so expressive because of the things like she can't speak, she can't move. So the story was told a lot through her eyes, and I really thought she did a great job of like expressing those emotions in the moment. And in the scene where he's like passed out on the floor and that water's rising, and she like the terror in her eyes, thinking that this is it. This might be the end. I thought that scene was so well done. So well done. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Again, highlighted the movie. It was used in a lot of the marketing, not so much giving away what was happening necessarily in the film. the bathtub itself is used. I mean, the main poster for the film is just the outside of the bathtub with a hand coming over it, and it's a human hand. It's not like, yeah. That's the poster. It's I mean, the main theatrical poster is just a white poster, and then towards the bottom, like not even centered, towards the bottom is like the top of the bathtub, and it just has what is obviously Michelle Pfeiffer's hand holding onto the side of it. And that's all it is. It's simplistic, which I think is actually very fitting for the film. That's the thing I do like about this movie too, is that there's a big story to be told here that has some twists, but it's not overly complicated. I don't want to say simplistic because I feel like that kind of dumbs it down a little bit, but it's simplistic where you're not sitting here and you're like, oh, well, this person did that, and because that person did this, then this happened, but if that person didn't do this, and this, like, it's more drawn into just a very simple story of infidelity, murder, and the secrets that are lying beneath the surface. With that being said, Lauren, I'm not the biggest fan of remakes, but I do think it's fun if we just think of what would happen if Hollywood said, you know what? Let's remake this movie. So, Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer were definitely in their late 40s, early 50s when they did this movie, I would say. Mm-hmm. So, if we were to do a remake, we're in charge of it, Lauren. How can we recast these characters, and who would we put in Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer's place?
So, for Michelle Pfeiffer, I thought of, she's just my favorite actor, Kate Winslet. That's who I thought. Okay. The eyes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Norman, I put as Idris Elba.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Idris and Kate. Okay, I'm down. I'll watch
Kate.
It remake.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put a little bit of thought into this, and I was kind of thinking visually who I could see kind of play these parts. For the Harrison Ford Norman character, I recasted Liev Schreiber, who was Cotton Weary in the Scream movies.
I can see that, yeah.
I think we already know that he plays that quasi kind of eerie dude, but also that innocent version. I think audiences could, kind of fall in love and trust him in his normal state, but then once we start finding out what actually happened and that he's the actual murderer of this film, then he goes a little crazy. And then for Michelle Pfeiffer's character, I recasted her with Margot Robbie. I feel like she's kind of captivating in the same type of way Michelle Pfeiffer is, beautiful blonde woman, and that's kind of what the lead was calling for in the screenplay to honor the Alfred Hitchcock aspect of it all. So yeah, I got Liev Schreiber and Margot Robbie.
Okay. I like it.
Perfect. We just made two great remakes there, guys, and I know you're all excited to see our versions of the film. Lauren, is there another scene in the movie that stuck out to you at all that you thought was really well done?
I mean, the one that sticks out to me the most is the bathtub scene. Like that, in my mind, is the acting in that was impressive, because it's not like a physical thing. It's like all in the eyes. I thought it was so well done. And yeah, also Harrison Ford being in a horror film was a thing for me too.
Perfect. It got one of this. It helps with your rating, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is something, I grew up watching Star Wars and not so much Indiana Jones, but, to me, he's Han Solo. So to see him in a different movie like this, and I know he's been in other movies, but it took me back. It took me like aback, and it was kind of wild. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a good looking guy.
Well, there you go. You got something to look at on the screen when you get bored, guys.
I was never bored, okay?
I think one of the scenes that stick out to me outside of the bathtub scene is when she kind of becomes possessed by the other woman. She's kind of seducing him on the stairs. and she kind of embodies that other woman, and it's what makes her realize once she and Harrison Ford start kissing and all that fun stuff. That's when she has the realization that she remembers walking in at this moment. And that was kind of, with the ghost taking over her body, that was the way that she was able to show her what she knew all along and jogged that memory after that car accident. I liked that scene a lot. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer did great in that scene. I thought Harrison Ford did great in that scene. And I really liked the way it was written. I felt like it was kind of emotionally driven too. A little bit of scare and then a little bit of, you got that revelation. And it's like, oh shit. It's kind of like when it all comes together. So I really like that. And then one other thing, in the climax of the film, right before the bathtub scene happens, she goes to call 911 and she hands the phone to him. And she tells him that he needs to call the cops. And he's like, okay. She was like, okay, cool. How about you go ahead, you make that phone call, own up to your shit. And he's kind of like, okay, like, you can trust me. Turns around, you hear the 1, 2, 3 dial of the phone. He talks, lets her know that they're going to be on their way, that the cops are going to be on their way. And he goes upstairs to go freshen up. She goes upstairs, something kind of makes her feel like maybe she should look at the phone, and whatever that case may be, she ends up picking up the phone and she hits redial, and he actually dialed 411 instead of 911. And that's when he pops up behind her. So I thought that was a cool little trick, because I mean, when I first saw the movie back in 2000, 25 years ago, what the fuck, I thought that I was like, wow, what a great guy. He's been kind of a jerk this whole entire movie to her, always making her feel like she's less than, and now he's going to step up and do the right thing, and this motherfucker called information.
I was like, girl, dial the phone yourself.
Yeah. So
I don't know what she was doing.
I loved that scene so much. I loved what they did with that I'm going to be nerdy for a second, guys. Okay. I used to make movies in middle school and high school. My friends and I made this movie called Between the Lines, and I was a psychopathic killer. Surprise, surprise. I loved that scare, that jump, that twist so much that we actually used it in our movie, and I kind of reenacted what Harrison Ford did, and we kind of did like a little different spin on it, but I did the same exact thing. But my friend, Adam, he accidentally called 911. So that took a second for us to be like, no, we dialed this by accident. We're so sorry. Nothing came of it. No big deal. But I thought that was funny. Yeah. So it's available on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, we dial 411 and then I come up behind and start choking the girl. It's something. So that scene really sticks out to me, even so much so that I wanted to incorporate it into our super famous film from 2003 called Between the Lines.
I need to see Between the Lines.
It's
everyone
amazing.
Go check it out on YouTube.
No. No one look at anything on YouTube.
Hey, well, you literally just said the title, and yeah, that's your fault.
It's all a lie. Cool. Well, Lauren, did anything with this conversation make you maybe want to bump up your score a little bit more, make you like the movie a little more, or on the opposite side, make you hate it?
I'll give it a solid 5 this time. No, 5.
Solid 5.
A solid 5.
Okay, that's fair. So we got a 5 out of 10. Yeah. You're matching me with The Sound of Music. It all makes sense.
It doesn't, though, because Sound of Music is a classic and one of the best movies ever made. So it doesn't make sense. I'm just kidding.
Listen, when
joke,
Maria,
not really.
When Maria starts to see a ghost, you give me a call.
Dave. No. Are you kidding me? Sound of Music. What lies beneath?
Yeah.
Julie Andrews.
The hills are alive with the sound of dead bodies.
Oh, in another sense, though, I can see Harrison Ford being the Captain Von Trapp. I can see him doing that. Can you not see
we want
him doing
to do
that role?
good. We want him to do good roles after What Lies Beneath.
Dave!
Just kidding.
I can see him being Captain Von Trapp.
Actually, I could too. Yeah, that would be a good casting.
He'd be good.
I'll accept that.
He'd be good. Yeah.
You think Michelle Pfeiffer should be Maria?
No.
It's the prequel to What Lies Beneath. This is before the affair, before the car accident.
She does have that singing experience from Grease too, but it's not quite Julie Andrews.
Okay. Fair. Touche.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? This has been a really fun conversation talking about 2000s, What Lies Beneath. I think it's a really fun psychological, supernatural horror drama. Everyone's 50-50 with this movie, so if you've never seen it, definitely jump into it. Of course, we spoiled the shit out of it here, so if you're watching it because of our conversation, you already know all the fun things that happen, but I do think that it's an exciting film to watch. I think it has a lot of fun moments, and as our friend Courtney said, there are things that maybe don't hold up as much as it does today. That was exciting back in 2000, but it's still, in my opinion, worth a watch. Lauren, I appreciate you being on the Reaction Shot podcast today. It's been a few minutes since you've been here, so I'm happy to have you back in the full swing motion of your reactions of these films that you haven't seen. And I know damn well that we'll be doing a lot more in the very near future, so I can't wait to have you back and see what movies we talk about next. Lauren, I appreciate you.
So excited.
Hope you have a great night, and thanks for stopping by. Everyone, thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.
Bye.